study of a community choice aggregation energy program for the city of Carson. You'll find this on page 13 of your agenda. Could we have a staff report, please, Mr. City Manager? Item number 23.
All right.
Maria, make sure your microphone is on.
Is it? It's working.
It is.
Yeah. Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. This item is on the agenda at the request of Council Member Davis Holmes. This is a resolution authorizing the city to participate in a feasibility study of a community choice aggregation energy program for the South Bay region. Community choice aggregation is a mechanism by which local governments assume responsibility for providing electrical power to their customers in their jurisdiction. If implemented, the community choice aggregation program could help the community gain local control of electricity prices and energy sources, create local economic benefits, and accelerate the transition to cleaner power like solar and wind. To date, the cities of Hermosa Beach, Manhattan Beach, Redondo Beach, Santa Monica, and Torrance have adopted resolutions to participate. At this time, there is no cost for the city to participate, and the organizers will seek funding for the feasibility study from other sources. Staff is recommending waiving further reading and adopting Resolution 15-023, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Carson, California, authorizing the participation in a feasibility study of a community choice aggregation energy program for the City of Carson. And we have the organizer, Joe Galliani, of the organizer of the Community Choice Aggregation Program in the South Bay. He is here and available to answer any questions that you might have.
Okay, would you please come forward, sir? If you'd like to add briefly.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members, staff. I'm happy to be here. Pleasure to be in Carson. You are the sixth city in our 7-city strategy of this community choice aggregation, kind of a wonky name for this. Very briefly, last March we held a symposium in Manhattan Beach sponsored by the city for a vision on how that city could go 100% renewable powered in 10 years. We brought in a number of experts from around the country and the state to offer some alternatives of how they could do that. The most intriguing was the folks that came down from Sonoma Clean Power, one of 2 CCAs operating in our state. And they were just about to launch their program. They launched in May of last year. Marin Clean Power, which has been in operation since 2010, last year saved their customers about $6 million because they charge lower rates than the investor-owned utility, in their case PG&E. They offer 50% renewable power as a base to all of their customers as opposed to the 22% you get from the utility. And most importantly, the local control here. CCA is a law that passed in our state in 2002. It was AB 117. It allows us to separate the buying of energy from the transmission. We will partner with Southern California Edison in this program. They will deliver the energy as they have. They'll do the transmission, the upkeep of the wires. But a representative from Carson and all the other cities will be on the nonprofit board of this operation if we go forward with it, and the feasibility study shows us that we should. And then each of the participating cities will make the rules for this program. And if you decide you want to incent people for more solar, you're able to do that. If you want energy efficiency, you're able to do that. Very briefly, we've had 2 studies done already for free. UCLA has done a study for Hermosa Beach, and USC has done a study for Torrance just last month. Both of these studies show jobs, local investment, more renewable power, and a very happy control from a local standpoint. Happy to answer any questions.
Certainly, you said you had a plan for 7 cities. Carson would be number 6 if we approve it tonight. What's the 7th city?
Inglewood, our friends next door. And let me just say, that's our core strategy. We're actually going after all 15 cities of the South Bay COG.
Like Lomita,
Lawndale,
Hawthorne.
Gardena, Hawthorne. I'm a South Bay guy. I've been here 23 years. I work with the COG. We have talked to the COG about this. Jackie Backrack is supporting us. We've talked to the folks at the county who were going to ask for the money to fund this. I can say, without committing them to anything, that the county has endorsed and supports our effort. But it's important to us to have our 7 core cities from the South Bay form this and be the ones that make the rules for this. And why 7 cities and why your city? Because the combined 7 cities that we've put together in this plan exceed the power and the number of people in both of the existing programs. So with just those 7 cities, we'll be larger. When we get all 15 cities, we'll be twice, maybe 3 times as large. And don't be surprised if the county would like to expand this program to all cities that are served by Southern California Edison. If that happens, then those cities will join a program that was founded and started here in Carson with our other 6 cities.
I see. So we would be one of the charter members.
Exactly.
Okay, next question. The idea is to create renewable energy. What about like a public utility that's owned by a municipality? For instance, we have delved into this issue of renewable energy. We have solar panels up. We're looking at electric vehicles and so forth, charging stations and so forth. We also have power generators in Carson. We have the Joint Water Pollution Control Plant generates 25 megawatts. We have the Watson Cogenerating Facility, part of the Tesoro, formerly BP facility, 450 megawatts. They only use about 50 for themselves. The other 400 is available to sell back to Edison. It's enough to power probably 500,000 population city. It could power the entire city of Long Beach, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then, in addition to that cogenerating facility, we also have the ConocoPhillips cogenerating facility. I think they're 150 or 200 megawatts. I'm not sure the exact figure there. Then, by coincidence, we also have a power plant in Carson that's built by General Electric. Now it's privately owned by a gentleman from Chicago, and he has a jet engine installed in a building powered by natural gas. It turns a turbine to generate electricity. It produces so much excess heat that heat is used to turn another turbine, steam energy, to create more power. They generate 50 megawatts. He's now applying for a license to double it to 100 megawatts. You take all these generating facilities together, combined with conservation and renewable energy sources, we could be energy independent. What is the Edison Company going to do when we, come forward with such a program?
Well, I certainly don't work for Edison.
It's just your opinion. I'm only asking for your opinion.
Sure.
You don't work for Edison, so I understand.
Well, for one thing, I think what you're talking about is some of the elements that form a municipal utility district, like we've got in Los Angeles with the DWP, and Pasadena has their own, and Glendale has their own. Right. The bugaboo about that is the transmission and the wires and the lines. Give you a good example. Boulder, Colorado would like to get rid of their investor-owned utility that serves them. It's a company called Xcel. And they've gone back and forth. They want to form a municipal utility district. What they've done, and we'll see how that works, is they have condemned all of Xcel's infrastructure. All of the poles, all the wires, said that they're too old, they're ancient, and they've made a very low-ball bid for what that's worth, about 1/5 of what the utility thinks it's worth. Very difficult to form a municipal utility district. In a perfect world, we would try to do that in the South Bay, because as you say, there are a number of generating capabilities that we have here. I'll add one more for you. In the USC study that was done for Torrance, they identified 84 brownfield sites within the city. Those sites aren't good for much of anything except solar power generation. In Torrance, their 84 brownfield sites have a potential for 544 megawatts of solar. That would be locally grown, local investors getting the money for that, for the long-term contract, and that money staying in our community. And that's the key to this whole program. A nonprofit that takes the profit that Edison sends to their shareholders and pays to their well-paid executives and puts that back into the program and puts it back into the community.
Very good. Okay, the last comment is that I'm a member of the COG. I actually represent the city of Carson at the South Bay City's Council of Governments, and we have discussed this issue, so I'm quite familiar with it, and I'm very supportive of it.
Thank you.
Let's go to Mayor Pro Tem and Councilman Santorina.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I heard definitely heard what you just said, but I just want to echo some of the things that I really would like to say here now. I am definitely committed to investigating and implementing fiscally responsible projects which improve our facilities and lower our costs. So programs such as the Energy Leader Partnership Program with Southern California Edison, and the Comprehensive Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy Program currently under development with Aptera Energy Services are examples where we lead by example. But I have some questions, and let me see if I heard part of it that some have been answered, but there's no harm in, to be repetitive at this time. And with the city manager, I would like to really know what are our obligations under the feasibility study. According to, he said no obligations at all.
My understanding is that if we were to enter into this, pass this resolution, we would have no fiscal impact, and the organization is out looking for funds to do the feasibility study, and that would not be an obligation of the city. It would be an obligation of the proponent.
Okay, thank you. And probably the gentleman can answer this. Can you just repeat what will the study really show us?
Yeah, the study will basically show you whether or not you can do what Marin County has done with their Marin Clean Energy Program, and that is offer every resident in your city and every business a lower rate than Southern California Edison charges. For that lower rate, give them twice the amount of renewable energy, allow you to have a representative for the city to make the rules of this. Right now, that's something you don't have with Edison in any way, shape, or form. It'll also allow you to partner with all your South Bay neighbors, forming, that's for the aggregation part here. And cities do this all the time for supplies, where you pool together to have great buying power, the power of 15 cities buying instead of one. That's what this is all about. And I encourage you to, the city of Richmond, up north in the Oakland area, opted into the program that Marin Clean Energy has. And that's kind of the proof of the pudding of these two programs up north. The founding cities, like we're asking you to be, started the program, but both programs up north have had a number of other cities opt into their program after they saw how well it was working. And in the case of Richmond, if you take a look at their population and you take a look at the mix of industrial and residential and commercial they have, it's a fair comparison with the city of Carson. And I would encourage you to talk to anyone at the city of Richmond in terms of their city manager, council members, to see how it's working for them. But we do know that program has created 2,400 new jobs and is funding new renewable energy up and down their area.
Okay, probably you have explained this already, but I'd like to ask you, will this impact, to some extent, our other energy savings projects in the city?
This will encompass your other energy savings projects and will add new energy saving projects, including energy efficiency. And, the county has a terrific program right now where they'll help fund new double pane windows and insulation and all the low-hanging fruit that really helps. Every watt that we save is a watt we don't have to generate. Those programs are a very big part of this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, the chair recognizes Councilmember Robles.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You mentioned that UCLA did one study, USC did the other study. I noticed the mayor was very thorough in his Q&A, but and probably because he knew that the USC study was probably a little bit better.
We're getting carried away tonight.
You're really going to take me there, are you?
So but no, I just wanted to thank the councilwoman for bringing this to our attention, and I look forward to you working with our city to improve
Thank you, sir.
our situation. Thank you.
The chair recognizes Councilwoman Davis Holmes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Joe, for coming out. Joe and I have been on the phone talking about this and meeting. But what caught my attention was the lowering the rates, the renewable energy. We've had this conversation several times, and we've had people come to say it's going to cost us to do X, A, B, and C. I'm always looking for the free, and it's no cost to the city and the partnership. I thought that it would be a good opportunity to do a feasibility study and bring all the surrounding cities, and I just felt that the city of Carson, we're always on the cutting edge, so we may as well be in partnership with this group. So, and the jobs, if it goes through, jobs. We're always looking for jobs. So I was just excited, and I'm glad to hear that my colleagues are excited about it also. I know the mayor has had in some form discussed this, but feasibility study means we will get all the facts.
That's what it's all about. I can be up here and tell you how great this program is or how it works up there, but this feasibility study is going to crunch the numbers. It's going to tell us, is the energy out there on the open market? Can we buy it and offer it at a price that's less? Is it reliable? And are the jobs and other things that we talk about in terms of local investment there? That's what the feasibility study is going to tell us.
Okay.
And I want to add one thing. What we love about this program all over the state, no tax dollars used.
Exactly.
When we get the money from the county, which I am hoping to get to pay for this feasibility study, and there's more money out there too, grant money, all of that money is reimbursed from the program the minute the program's up and running, and that's what we've seen in the other two programs. So it's not that hard for the County of Los Angeles to say yes to this because they would be made whole immediately upon the program running. One last thing, I'm sorry, I can't stop. We had somebody analyze what the 7 cities, yours included, would mean in terms of annual revenue from the start. $2.3 billion in annual revenue from the first 7 cities.
Councilwoman, you still have the floor, but I have a question.
One question I had, didn't you, when we had our discussion, weren't we one of the higher end users for?
I'm sorry?
Weren't we one of the city of Carson, one of the higher end users for?
Yes, and then that's why you're in the 7 cities, because together with Torrance and Inglewood and then the smaller beach cities, you equal the power and surpass the power of both of the existing programs.
Well, I would like to waive further reading and adopt resolution number 15023, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Carson, California, authorizing the participation in a feasibility study of a community charge aggregation energy program for the City of Carson.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Davis Holmes, second by Santorina. Okay, on the motion, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Each city is going to appoint one person at this point?
Yes.
Okay. We can do that tonight?
No, that's once the program starts.
When do we anticipate that?
Well, we have to have the feasibility study tell us that that's what we're going to do, and then your city would need to pass.
Maybe a year or more.
I'm going to guess a year, and it's been longer with the other programs, but we've gone to school on them, and so a lot of what we've learned from them is going to speed things up for us. We're pushing for a year.
Very good. Okay. Any further discussion? I think we're okay. No other further discussion. Let's vote on the motion that's on the floor. Please cast your vote, council members. And for the record, it passes unanimously 4-0. Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.